With all that travel comes intense temperatures, unfortunately. A heat wave is expected to hit the Northeast and Midwest this weekend. CBS News weather producer David Parkinson is here to run us through the temperatures. All right, David, just how hot will it be this weekend?
Very. And to people who are in New York, perhaps get on a plane and get out of here.
Unfortunately, get on those long lines.
You've really only got a choice of going to immediate West Coast cities. So like LA, San Francisco, you got the ocean AC. Almost everywhere else is going to be pretty darn hot this weekend. And in terms of the worst today, that's going to be a place in the Midwest like St. Louis where it's going to feel like 112. I've even seen some calculations that it could feel like 114 in St. Louis.
114, but isn't that extremely dangerous?
It is, absolutely. And that is a problem for young people, for the elderly, people with respiratory problems because the air quality goes down. It's also really dangerous because your air temperatures are in the 90s or low 100s. That means you have heat exhaustion problems, heat stroke problems, which means you shouldn't be doing any sort of physical activity outside. And it doesn't cool all that much down in the night, and that also means that there's no real good time to be outside during this period.
So is the message getting out there? Are local officials letting people know all of this?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope my local meteorologists are doing their duties to warn people. And the other thing is, look, you know, we have heat waves. We're going to have a stretch of 10 to 14 days where we're going to be in the 90s in parts of the Mid-Atlantic. The longest heat wave we've ever had is 21 days. So, like, that's not record-breaking, but it is a shock to the system. It's the first time we've had, up till now, a fairly cool spring. Suddenly, we've turned on the heat.
So the only areas of the country that are somewhat immune to this is the West Coast, you're saying?
The Northwest specifically.
Really?
So
okay.
Spokane, Seattle, Portland, and then right along the coast, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. But really, as you go into the end of the weekend, Sunday, you're talking about triple-digit feels-like temperatures in New York City. And here's the Washington, D.C. temperature trend for 10 days. We do not go below 90 any of those days, and more than half of those days has a feels-like temperature over 100 degrees.
Unbelievable. So that means it's a humid heat, is that right?
Yes. So it is not a dry heat.
Yeah.
It is a dry heat in California where you're going to ratchet up the fire risk. But for folks in the Midwest, folks in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, it is going to be a sticky, muggy heat. Especially keep in mind that a lot of your major population areas, New York, Philly, D.C., right on the water. So you can't really get a dry heat because you've got all that water surrounding you. But when you combine those temperatures with the sun, the surfaces that you're on are so much hotter. Cement in a 95-degree day in the sun feels like 125 to your feet.
All good reasons to get out of a city if you live in a city. But David, when can we expect some relief?
Unfortunately, you know, we are looking for several weeks of temperatures above normal or well above normal. So here's what's going to happen. Basically, you're going to be above normal, and then you're going to cool back down to just about average, maybe 1 or 2 degrees above normal, and then you're going to go well above normal again. So it's going to be this up and down through most of July. It's not going to be a very comfortable stretch.
We're not hitting records, though, are we?
We are hitting 9 records on Saturday.
Wow.
We're only hitting 1 record today. That's going to be in Des Moines. And then on Sunday, we'll break a couple more records. Again, not the hottest we've ever done, but people are going to be out and about. Remember, go to a lifeguarded beach. You know, all those key things that you got to do if you want to escape the heat. Make sure that you have an AC that's working. Today would probably be your last day to get that working. If you're going to be traveling, make sure that your car is in good working order, because if you're stuck in traffic and something dies and you don't have air conditioning, that's not a good scene either.
No, make friends with your friends with pools.
Pools, beach houses, lake houses, do it all.
And good
insinuate yourself into their plans would be my suggestion.
David Parkinson, thank you so much.
Of course.